Welcome, my name is Alberto Marquez. This video talks about the challenges to build a global supply chain. When building a global supply chain, many different factors affect the decisions. We can consider the delivery time, for instance. The delivery time depends not only on the time it takes for an order to be fulfilled, but in large supply chains, consideration for product and process developments are elements of the time to market. The supply chain considers the ability to cover extensive regions, both for acquiring new materials, subassemblies, components, and finished products, as well as being able to coordinate, consolidate, assemble, warehouse, and deliver the product. The infrastructure of a country is important to create a reliable environment for manufacturing, including roads, railroads, ports, airports, and energy supply. Lack of infrastructure or challenged infrastructure by weather, orography, or other physical threats makes the conditions for more expensive and uncertain operations. The demand distribution in space and in time also plays a role on how the supply chain will have to operate. Complete products can depend on whether it is cheaper to produce a dry, non-refrigerated product or a fresh but refrigerated product. The cost of the first one is in the packaging, the cost of the second one is in the transportation and warehousing. Transportation costs, along with manufacturing and warehousing costs, are of course also important, including labor and energy to carry out the operations. Therefore, decisions for offshoring should include the total cost. The total cost includes risk management. Supply chains look to be reliable and resilient. Innovation is also important as customers are constantly requiring new products due to fashion, functionality, or compatibility. Finally, all the players of the supply chain need to have a positive return on the investment for the supply chain to be sustainable in the long run. Workers, communities, suppliers, logistic companies, contract manufacturers, customer service, and retailers are all to make a profit in their contribution to the supply chain. In this video, I will use some of the findings about the company Li & Fung, and that talks about the strategies changing through time to build and remain current in the marketplace. Back in 1998, Joan Magreta wrote an article on the Harvard Business Review on the company. We discussed those findings along with what the current webpage and the most recent report 2019 tells us about a global supply chain and its evolution. Li & Fung promises an end-to-end supply chain that includes consumers, product design and development, vendor compliance and development, raw material sourcing, factory sourcing, establishing the contract manufacturing operations, distribution and transportation management, freight forwarding and customers clearance, hubbing and consolidation, local transportation, wholesalers, and brands and retailers. The company grew the business from being a broker to becoming a regional sourcing agent. The value added provided included managing complex logistics, managing taxes, and quotas from different countries when markets were more regulated, sourcing and selection of synthetics and cotton depending on the country and the quality. That translated into the need to understand different aspects of the business, from negotiation to design to materials to regulations and logistics. The idea was to create borderless manufacturing with manufacturing and assembly in cheap locations, intelligence for product creation, and customer service in more sophisticated places. Capacity was committed in future orders which are not specified until later, allowing for the concept of postponed differentiation in manufacturing. The task was to have coordination of multiple components with perfectly matching parts that allow for sophisticated products, reduced cost, and fast delivery. Smaller orders allows for faster adaptations to fashion, reduce inventory costs due to obsolescence and storing. It requires faster response but allows more customization. Strategies are followed that are not intuitive at first sight. For instance, filling containers to capacity at every location creates larger inventory and savings are not factual. Sending the same container to be filled at different locations with assorted products delivers smaller inventory at a higher transportation cost that can be rejected by transportation experts, but lowers the overall cost. Back in 1998, the company already had 7,500 suppliers in 26 countries, with over 1 million workers coordinated but not employed by the company. They do not own any single manufacturing facility, they just coordinate the operations between 30 to 70% of each facility. That way, they remain important but give supplier options in case of low volume. The company is organized around specific customers, not operations, suppliers, or countries. The main goal is to align the operations to the customers. From the 2019 annual report, the main source countries are identified as China, Vietnam, Bangladesh, India, and Indonesia. However, sourcing comes from all over the world, from almost 7,000 factories. Today, one of the core strategic competencies is speed. Investments are oriented towards leveraging new technologies, optimization of processes, and connecting the different components of the organization of the supply chain. The purpose of speed is to better serve the global brand and retail customers, reducing the lead time from conception to delivery, increasing the speed to market. Making decisions closer to the time to market in short notice, enabling the creation of on-trend products that delight their end customers and sell at full prices with lower markdowns. Regarding innovation, the use of mobile-enabled and mass-customized products and services are the new norm. Brands and retailers are challenged to respond rapidly to changes in consumer expectations. Customer collaborations, crowdsourcing ideas, and technology partnership, developing new products and solutions to help the customers meet these expectations. The company is sitting at the center of an increasing digitized supply chain that needs access data across the complete network. The company needs to reinvent itself in new ways of working with retailers and suppliers, creating new business models with traditional and non-traditional partners. To innovate requires openness and humility, looking for ideas in and out of the corporation and collaborations with partners that have the capabilities, knowledge, and platforms. It requires taking advantage of specialization and multiple points of view. It also requires empowering people to be innovators, redesigning the workspaces to become flexible to promote sharing, fluid project management, and a flat structure for all the colleagues across the network. Another strategy is digitization. The future supply chain will run a virtual world of supply chain in advance of reality. This means transforming the concept of logistics, demand forecasting, and data analysis. Planning grows from the individualized customized order to the global requirement as opposed to have expected values that needs to be covered by inventories and expectations. Consumers have become more digital and the supply chain must be upgraded. The objective is end-to-end synchronized supply chain with advanced data analytics to improve speed, cost, lead time, working capital, inventory, sustainability, and traceability. Digitization means the supply chain will be multidimensional worlds where brands, retailers, and suppliers connect to an ecosystem of digital services and data insight that was not possible before. The use of predictive analytics to enhance the business performance of the customer or partners will be pervasive. The fourth industrial revolution of the digitization of the supply chain is happening and accelerated by the need of virtual connectivity. A fourth core strategy is sustainability. Sustainability is understood in four domains: the need for a sustainable supply chain, the need for engaging in the community where they operate, the need to engage with people at all levels, and to measure the impact of the footprint in their operation. The company is developing a 3D product development platform that allows the seamless integration of design to manufacturing of orders in a 3-year plan from 2017 to 2019. That is also helping customers to find the capability to digitally integrate other aspects of their supply chain. Another core strategy is sustainability. In these regards, 4 components are considered: supply chain sustainability, engaging communities, engaging people, and the ecological footprint. Within each of these areas, different initiatives facilitate the continuous improvement that is constantly measured with key performance indicators. When thinking about the supply chain, more than just the costs should be considered. Each country has to be evaluated and each facility considered for 12 industry standards that are checked. Risks are associated to health and safety, transparency, and ethics. Many issues are identified through the unannounced spot checks. For instance, the company makes an assessment of China. They report that in China, managerial issues include payment of social security for employees, excessive overtime beyond the legal limits. There are also concerns about health and safety associated with the use of personal protective equipment. Other health and safety issues include the chemical management systems required improvement and problems with proper hazardous waste disposal. The response of the company includes reviewing publicly available data to track environmental violations and emissions, requiring suppliers to take necessary actions to bring their operations back to compliance. The risks in India are related to the wrong use of personal protection equipment, chemical management systems that need improvement, and the lack of proper fire certificates. A necessary practice is to rate suppliers based on a point system. With all factories constantly being evaluated, the better score factors can get longer approval and certification of operations than lower performers. The approach is to have continuous improvement in this method with zero tolerance in critical factors that are deemed essential for operation. They created a worker app to stay in touch with factory workers through the use of technology. This facilitates the communication and engagement of workers through surveys, announcements, and educational content. The educational content includes personal finance, gender, personal hygiene, well-being, and other topics. It also helps management to understand workers' needs and expectations. The app is applied in 57 factories in 4 production countries with over 20,000 workers in different languages. Ethical Trading Initiative, ETI, is an alliance of companies, trade unions, and non-government organizations working collaboratively through projects, research, and advocacy to drive the application of ETI principles in international supply chains. Headquartered in the UK, ETI is one of the leading multi-stakeholder initiatives operated in an area of human rights at work. Its base code is an internationally recognized set of labor standards founded on the Convention of the International Labour Organization. A critical aspect of ETI membership is reporting on progress in implementing the ETI base code and principle across the supply chain, so that ETI can monitor the progress over time and ensure the continuous improvement. As a new foundation member of ETI, the company will submit the first report in January of 2020. As a foundation new member of ETI, the company submitted the first report in January of 2020. As you can see, outsourcing and creating a global supply chain requires a multidimensional decision-making and operational support process that requires strong leadership, high ethical and performance standards, and the capacity to do analysis of trade-offs between investments, operational cost, and customer satisfaction. I hope you find this video useful. Please feel free to share your comments and let me know if you have questions.